What's going on, guys? I want to film a quick update on where we're at on the prototype assembly here. Things are coming along. I haven't gotten quite as much time over the last couple of days to get out here and work on this as I wanted to. And to be honest, I am kind of wanting to take my time with this. Obviously, we want everything to go together correctly the first time. And when you start getting excited and in a hurry, rushing things, that's where you make critical errors. And being that these parts were water jet and they're the only ones I have, really don't want to mess any of them up if I can help it. As that's just a lot more time and a lot more money to get a new part or a new piece refabricated and starting over. So definitely won't hurt to take some extra time on this. I still am actually waiting on the rest of the parts to finish this build anyway. I did place an order with McMaster Car yesterday, and I think there's one within a couple hours of here, so shipping should only take a day, maybe two at the most. And I think those parts and pieces will ship out tomorrow morning, so hopefully they'll show up on my doorstep sometime afternoon, evening, if not the next day. I forget how long they normally take to ship here. But that'll be the rest of the fasteners for the main body assembly and a couple of other things. Adjustable handles, some all thread for our homemade knobs. I have another gas spring I ordered. This one kind of got to thinking about, I don't know if it'll be too heavy. It's an 80-pound gas spring. I went ahead and ordered a 50 as well. I know there's kind of some debate on what's best or what's too heavy, too light. I think the regular springs, compression or tension, depending on what you use, they're normally only about 35 to 45. Some guys use pneumatic springs. Those I think are about 50, 60. I think Mick Strider said he had a 100-pound spring on his grinder. It was a gas spring. So we'll kind of play with a couple of those, see which one works the best. Obviously, you don't want it too much that you're going to risk either breaking belts or bending handles and stuff when you're adjusting things, or sliding tool arms back in and whatnot. But you don't want it so little that the tracking's not going to be good. So we'll kind of see what the happy medium is there, and we'll go with that. These springs aren't terribly expensive. They're only about $13, $14 each. So we can play with a couple of those. If I need to get more, I will. As far as what I need to finish the entire grinder, I'm waiting on the funds to come in. I do want to get a motor and a drive, as well as some new wheels. I could take parts and pieces off of my no-weld grinder. Over there in the background, not necessarily the motor, as it's not a 56C face mounting motor, but I got some Beaumont wheels on there. I could take it off to test it, but I'd probably instead of going through all that and then having to reset up that machine, which may end up going in the corner anyway, I'm going to get some brand new wheels. I do want to get all the exact parts and pieces that if I should decide to make any of these for production, I want all the same parts and pieces that they're going to be sold with to get an exact idea of how this thing's going to work. But at any rate, in the meantime, I do have things kind of mocked together here. Just the one side plate. I haven't drilled any of these tool arm slots out yet, nor do I have 1/4-inch bolts, I don't think, long enough to get it all bolted together. And I still need to drill and tap all these holes out that needed on that side. But that'll kind of be the next step, prepping these tool arm slots. This was designed for exactly 1/2 inch. These are a little on the thick side, as I mentioned in the last video, about 518 thou. So I'm going to have to take about 18 thou off of each of these. Shouldn't be a big deal. I got a fly cutter and a mill. I'll just run, maybe 9 thou, 10 thou off on both sides. And, that shouldn't really be a big deal. I'll probably, change the CAD files to account for that extra thickness. I don't order a lot of aluminum plates, so I really didn't know, how close to exact that kind of stuff was. And actually the tool arms may be a little bit bigger than I want them to be too, so I'm going to have to get some of those, which is another thing I need to get. I need to get tool arms, work rest, parts and pieces, things like that. Still quite a few parts and pieces and different accessories and things I need, but I do hope by early this week to at least have the main body done, and probably sometime later today, tonight, I'll get all the holes drilled and tapped that I can, on the main body here. So we are making some good progress. You can see it's kind of mocked together here. Just have some 1/4-inch bolts in these pivot plates. I still need to drill those out. This will be a 3/8 pivot, although 1/4 would probably be fine. Overkill is not necessarily a bad thing. So you can kind of see it's working pretty good here. Actually, yeah, we got a nice 90-degree stop, which is the way I designed this. I didn't really leave any space here so that when it's vertical, it'll stop against these uprights. And then when it's this way, not only do you have the stop pin down here and then the spring pin on this end, but you got kind of a 90-degree stop up here too. So plenty of stability there. And it's a little loose now because the pivots aren't in. There'll be bronze bushings in there, and all that should pivot just about as smooth as glass, but be as stout as the steel, or the aluminum. I don't have anything bolted down, and these bolts really aren't even tight yet, but I think it'll be a fairly solid machine once everything's together, tightened down good. Actually the workbench is shaking as much as anything right now, but really happy with that. Once I get all the holes drilled out, stop pins, pivots, pull pins, everything like that in there, we'll also have the adjustable handles to crank down on these and lock that, which really may not even be that necessary. I don't know how much this motor is going to counterbalance and when I kind of tilt this over, but the way I kind of designed this as far as where everything's spaced and sitting, it may not actually want to tip over all that much, if at all. So we'll kind of see how that works. That's one of the things, we're kind of taking a gamble on here, in that I didn't have any way to really test that before I get the motor, which, cantilever out a little bit there. But at any rate, that's pretty much it. All these holes, I could use hex cap screws. I don't think it would look bad, but the rest of this will be socket head. So I need to counterbore all these. I'll be getting the socket cap screws hopefully tomorrow or the next day. I need to counterbore all those. I think I have a counterbore that'll work. If not, I'll need to order one of those too. I guess I should check that before I expect everything else to show up, but we'll make it work either way. But without making this drag on too much, without having too much to show you, I think things are coming together pretty well. You can't see back here, I did have to notch that. I don't know what happened. I think I did change this dimension in the original file, but the revision or the final DXF file I sent to the water jet, I think it somehow got reversed. So I need to shorten that up in the next design. I don't think that looks too bad or out of place, but that rear pivot plate would have been hitting on that. And we don't really need it that close to the grinder anyway, but just kind of the way things came out. So again, got a lot more to drill and tap, another hole or two to add that got missed on the tool path, and hopefully in a couple days I'll show you guys at least a completed body assembly. So that's pretty much it, guys. We're at 10 minutes. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.